don't really know how to start this one. I don't really know how to start any of them, to be honest. Because I just want to talk about what it is. That's what we're going to do. That's what feels correct, so that's what we're going to do. Today we're talking about cultivating the correct community. And this is a really big topic for me in my personal life right now. Not just my personal life, but like my public business life too. In any of my socials, what the heck? What's going on here? In any of my socials, in any of my communities that I have online. And this has been a thing in the past before. I've done this a few times before. But I haven't done it in a while because it just didn't feel like the right time to do it, or it didn't feel like I was doing it for the right reasons. So I didn't do it because it didn't feel correct. And I mean, one, radical alignment. It didn't feel correct, so I didn't do it. But yesterday, it felt correct, so I did it. Just a keynote, or a key in radical alignment when that's happening. Good grief. I am like shedding all over the place. Shedding like a cat. But cultivating the correct community as a 4, especially a 4 profile line, is so important. So important. Because I feel like the 4 gets it gets the short end of the stick a lot of the times in the descriptions about it on human design. Anything with human design, because it's called the opportunist. And that just makes it sound like, oh, you're just gonna use people. And it's like, no, that is not it. That is actually the exact opposite of what a 4 line does in their community. Which is why I have renamed it in my own personal life, because, and like the 4 isn't even always the networker, because as a 4, I'm a 4/6. As a 4, I don't want to go out and like network with people. That doesn't feel correct for me because, again, that sentence, that doesn't feel correct for me because, again, it's like, that's doing it with an agenda. And that's the difference. Cultivating this community, like, it happens without having an agenda. It happens without putting expectations on people. It happens without expecting, like, anything from these people. Because they're people. They're not objects. They're not like robots. They're not like, you're not collecting people necessarily. Like, and I don't like that term either, people collector. I don't like that term. It's just like, it's nails on a chalkboard to like my heart. Because it's like, people aren't collectible. There's a legitimate relationship that you have with the people. And it's just like mind-blowing to me of how bad of a rap like the 4 gets, especially, and like, it's just, I feel like not very many people really understand the 4. Unless you are a 4, and then you're like, I don't resonate with that sentence, so I'm not even gonna like I don't know what to do with that, you know. Katie Calder, if you don't know who she is a really good representative of a 4 line. She's not a 4 line, but she has an abundance of 4s in her profile. I think she has a 4 dominance overall, and she is definitely like a 4 personality. She's actually a 6/2, but she explains the 4 in a much better, much more real way. And I'm a 4/6, but I don't have an abundance of 4s. I have like 4 in my entire profile, or in my entire chart. And I have 9 6s and 7 3s, and then I think the 4 4s, and then like 4 2s and 2 5s, or like something like that. It's very skewed. But either way. Oh, and a few 1s sprinkled in there too, obviously. But the 4, what I call it, is the connector. Because a 4 connects. No matter who it's with. The 4 is connecting with the people that are around it. The 4 is connecting on a deeper level. The 4 is connecting to people's hearts, to people's minds, to wherever their energy is based. That's what they're connecting with. Whatever the sun sign is in, whatever the Venus is in, and then whatever like the Mercury is in as well. And sometimes the Earth too, because that's just what grounds. But also just whatever area you have a 4 in, that's where you're also connecting with other people. I didn't necessarily think I was going to go through this here, but I'm probably going to go through, I might just make a separate video. It's a whole new concept. It's a breakthrough and insight that I had last night, and I literally had to get out of bed and like draw this and record it at the time, and I was like, it was like 2:30 in the morning, but it was so freaking like synchronistic that I was like, holy crap, like I can't forget this. I can't just leave this to chance on whether or not I'm going to forget this. So I got up, I drew it out. So it's about how the profile lines are synchronistic with the centers. So I'm going to make a video about that, possibly today, but we'll go through it. Anyways, let's get back to this. So the profile line 4, and just like cultivating the correct community, that's what the 4 is. That's what the 4 is doing. So if you have a 4 in your profile, if you have a 4 in certain aspects, like everybody has a 4. So if you have a 4 in your chart, this is about cultivating connection. This is about cultivating the correct people and not like actually connecting with them. So one of the things that has really been, bothering me recently is how, and this is, I don't want this to come across the wrong way. I want it to come across the way that I mean it, and I'm just going to hope that it lands. I've been noticing that there's a lot of like people that were following me for their own purposes, especially like other coaches and things like that really were only interacting with me not because they wanted to hear what I had to say or connect, but because they wanted something from me. And to me, that's like icky energy. Like I don't want to deal with that. That's not what I do. I very intentionally cultivate my community. Right now I'm following 44 people. That's it. Because that's all I have the energy for to see on a day-to-day basis. It helps it so I stop scrolling every day because I see exactly what I want to see. And every now and then I'll go through Discover and like I'll find a new person. But as a 4, people are usually like telling me, hey, you should check out this person. And that's an invitation. That's like, hey, I will find who I need to through my own people. So that's like one of the things. But anyway, so I was finding that there was, or just like a lot of ghost followers, like spam accounts and things like that. And it was just really interesting to me. And I was like, I don't understand it. I mean, I do from a certain perspective, but like my heart doesn't understand it. Logically, I understand why they're doing it, but I'm not on board with that. There we go. I'm not on board with that. That doesn't sit right with me. Because I really want to cultivate the correct community for myself. I want the right people hearing what I'm saying because I know that it's like really freaking impactful. And that's not me like tooting my own horn just to toot it. Like that's, I know, I've seen how my content or how my breakthroughs really impact people. I've seen their faces. I've seen the actual transformations that it can bring for the right people. So I don't want it to get lost on people who don't even care. You know what I mean? So I was taking a look at how I really want my community to be, how I really wanted my community to be. Because I was like, okay, this is a good lesson for me. Because right now, I mean, it's been this way for a little bit, but we're really getting into like the whole social media craze of their social media addiction now. There's like all of these different things of like people are just losing so much time scrolling on social media. And it's like, well, what's the solution? The solution is cultivating your own community, only following a certain amount of people, and then like also just being intentional with your time. Because I was talking to a client yesterday. We had a breakthrough call yesterday, and we were talking about how she was feeling really tired, and she was feeling consistently tired, and she didn't really have anything extra going on, because I was like, do you, in your business, is there anything that you would want to get rid of, that you would absolutely love to just no longer do? And she was like, honestly, no. Like, I like everything that I'm doing. I just don't feel like I have time. And I was like, okay, so right there, somewhere in your days, you're losing time. And it's also, you can be losing time thinking about the future. You can be losing time worrying about the past, or like, whatever it is. So it's being present, and then also just figuring out where you're losing your time. And if it's in social media, then be more intentional about it. It's not a huge deal or anything. It's just, again, it's cultivating the correct community for yourself. Because your community isn't just people. Your community is everything that you're seeing, everything that you're hearing, everything in your space. Because you cultivate your home. You cultivate the vibe in your home. You cultivate your own vibe. You cultivate your mindset. You cultivate, like, how you feel, your relationships, the TV that you watch. Like, you cultivate everything that you do. Because cultivating is just like curating it and wanting it to be a certain way. That's what cultivating means to me, at least. So anyways, so I was getting, again, all of these different things. And now I'm like very mindful about it. If I have never talked to somebody, because I also got 2 messages over the past month that people I had never talked to before and that weren't in my community for more than a day, or not even a day. It was like 6 hours. And they reached out to me and they were like, either so proud of you or so excited for you or something. And it was like one of those cold DM strategies. I'm a business coach. I know that strategy. I don't use it because I don't like it. I don't think it cultivates the right community. It doesn't build connection. It's just, it's icky. It's gross. It's like, just stop. Like, you can attract the right people. And it doesn't have to be icky or resistance or anything like that. Anyways, so I had 2 people who did that to me over the past month, and I was like, I don't understand. like why? And again, I do understand it. I understand where they're coming from. Like, I get it. But it doesn't sit right with me. It's not how I run my business. It's not how I teach people to run their businesses, because if it doesn't feel good to you, why are you doing it? You know what I mean? Anyways, so I looked into, how do I want my community to be? How do I actually want my community to be? And honestly, I didn't really know exactly how I wanted my community to be until after I watched a different like training video or whatever it was. I think it was like a masterclass. And I realized that I really want people who are kind of like a mini fan club. Like, you want to be celebrated in your community. You want to be noticed. You want to be heard. You want to be valued. You want to be appreciated. And like, that's what I want too. And I want to appreciate all of the people that are in my community. That's how I want this interaction to be. I want it to be like, you know my name. I know your name. Like, we have this cool interaction. I know your like human design. I know your profile. Like, we could talk about it, And I've just like been connecting with you, and I know almost everybody's in here, at least the people that have interacted with me. I know what your profile is. I know what type you are. I know generally what your chart is because you've shared it with me, and that makes me super happy. That to me is connection. That to me is like, I'm happy that I get to know this about you and that I get to connect with you in this way. Like, that makes me super happy. Mushy moment. Mushy moment. So I was like, I really want my community to be more like that, more like awesome. Like, I'm cool. Like, I'm really excited to see what you do next, or like what you post next, or, what your next transformation is or whatever. And then literally the next day, I had one of the people that usually interacts with my content. If you're watching this, you know who you are. And she's been around with me for like almost a year now at this point. And it's just so cool because like she reached out and she was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, like, I'm low-key like a hype girl for you. And I was like, I I love that. Like, it makes me happy to know that I do have people in my community that are like this. I truly appreciate that. I love that because it's just like, you don't ever have to work with me if you don't want to. But what I want is connection. That's what I want. I want to connect. I want to connect more to the people who actually like care, who are actually here to be a part of like my life. Like, we are all on our own journeys, and it just makes me so happy to like be able to watch and witness other people through their journeys too. So when I was going through the how I want my community to be, I was like, all right, this is cool. And then like, so the universe showed me that, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want. This is exactly what I want. I love this. I love this feeling right now. I love this connection right now. Like, it makes me just super fulfilled, super happy about it. That's what I want. I was like, because over the past month or so, I've been really looking into like what I desire and why I desire it. And for the longest time, I mean, I did desire, and I still desire to have a pretty big impact on a lot of people, but I also don't want to like rush that. I don't care if I have 7 followers or 7 million. What I care about is how much they're actually interacting with me. Because if they're not interacting with me, then clearly I'm not the like right person for them, and that's okay. You know, like, if there's this thing called the fractal line, or your fractal, and Ra talks about it as the people that you meet in your life that you actually connect with, the people that you actually understand, that you get along with, like, they just make sense to you. Things just click for you with them. And it doesn't mean you're going to click for the entire time that you're alive, but they are somewhere along your fractal to where you will meet up with them, you will hear from them, and it's like, it just resonates with you. So the people who resonate with you are on your fractal. And I just think it's really interesting to like, to witness who is on my fractal and like who I'm on the fractal of as well. And it's like this really cool like enmeshment of lives. And it's like, because it's so like cool to think about, but you don't just know the people that you know. You actually are able to know, if you wanted to, you could know all the people that they know too, or like a good handful of the people that they know too, just because of the fact, like, when people help me get breakthroughs, you bet your butt I'm talking to other people about it. And I'm letting them know who it was, and like, you know, or just, I mean, Eden Carpenter is one of my favorite like human design people. That's who I learned from. I have almost all of her courses. Like, that's who I've really learned my baseline of what human design is from, and then I take it and like have my own insights on it. Because there's a lot of things that like, oh, this is a whole different topic. Good grief, we're getting into a lot today. But what I post on my Instagram, I see like Erin Claire Jones and I don't know, just a lot of other people who post about human design, and they post a lot of the same stuff, the same kind of stuff. And I'm not bashing them at all. Like, I need what they're saying at the time that they're saying it. But that's not how I share. I really don't enjoy just parroting or saying the same thing over and over. Like, to me, that gets boring. I like variety. I like newness. Then this is actually my, this is my, what is it, 1.1? I have, yeah, the gate 1.1. And it's creative. The gift is freshness. So, it's freshness, so it's new things that are just new insights. And same thing with my 43 to 23. Oh, I have it up here, duh. So the one is in the G center here, and then the 4323 is this genius to freak. Like, I literally am here to talk about those things, to do those things. And so it doesn't sit right, it doesn't feel correct for me to just continue to talk about the same thing over and over again. Like, I want to talk about human design in the way that you've probably never heard of it before. So where you didn't think it was able to be used, it can be used. I guarantee you of it. Like one of the things, actually, so I just sent out an email this morning about it, which my email is kind of like my blog. So if you're not on the email list, like it's in the links in my bio. I don't know why I'm pointing up here, wherever it is. But it's in the links in my bio, and you get the Simply Human Design Basics, like 22-page in-depth guide about the human design basics. So if you want to hop on there, do that. But anyways, so in my email list this morning, I sent out how, just like another layer of how you can use human design in your own life. And it was really about how to realign your energy. And just one of the points that I talked about in there, because I talked about two big ones. One of the points was if you have the emotional center defined, doing something like journaling and EFT tapping and working out with the intention of releasing that emotional energy, that's going to make you feel like so much better, so much clearer of just an emotional channel. And if you have it undefined, you don't have to focus on that all the time. Like I used to try and guilt myself into journaling every morning on emotions because that's what I was told to do. It did not feel correct for me, so I stopped doing it. And now I will journal when I feel it's correct. When I have emotions come up and I need to work through them, I will definitely do it. But I don't force myself to, because I don't want to overdo that, because that's not where my energy is. That's not where my energy is based. I need to spend more time working on my mindset, cultivating like my own personal worth and things like that. But more about the mindset and the beliefs that I have. And that is freaking hard for me because I am so solid in what I believe that I have to like consistently decondition my brain and like take it apart and then reprogram it. It's an everyday practice. And that is, again, this is one of the things that you can do in yours too. If you have this defined ajna, you'll probably find that you need to do the same. If you don't have the splenic center or the emotional center, like you don't necessarily have to get into these other open centers that you have. Every now and then you will, when something comes up, when something sparks that energy. But other than that, stay where your defined energy is, because it's just going to help you so much more, and it's going to make you feel so much lighter, so much freer. It's not always lighter, but it's freer. We've talked about a lot. Anyways, I don't even know how I got off onto these tangents. Every single day, and that's okay. But getting back to it, cultivating the correct community. So I really want to point out that it's not your job to make people fall in love with you or with your message. I feel like a lot of people, this is why the cold DM strategy is such a big thing for a lot of people, because they feel like it works for them, except for it's not your job to make anybody find you, to make anything happen. That's not your job. Your job is to be who you are and shine as bright as you fucking can and allow the people who are correct for you to find you. That's what your job is. Your job is literally just to be so magnetic that your correct people, that your correct audience, that your correct community cannot miss you, because what's for you will not miss you. So I just want to point that out too. But yeah, so cultivating the correct community. So what I did, and I'm going to continue to do this, and I legitimately will, because it is my job for myself to cultivate my own community, for my own sanity, for my own mental health, for my own personal purposes. So what I did last night, and I talked this out first because I'm a self-projected projector, so I needed to really get out my voice in order to see how I felt about it. Again, to make sure that it was for the right reasons and that I really did want to do it, and I spoke confidently about it and all that stuff. And I did. I was very set in it. So let's see. So last night, I went through all of my Instagram followers and removed probably over half of them. And I honestly feel like there's still more that I need to like remove from my audience. But I gave people the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe they haven't seen my content in a little bit, maybe, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, okay, these people don't seem sleazy because we don't like sleazy. They don't have an icky energy, like, and you can tap into this as you're going through that too, like just kind of seeing what the energy is. So I'm going to give it a week, maybe 2, and see how it goes. Maybe even a month, you know, we'll see. And then I'm going to cultivate that community again. Because again, I don't want to be talking to the wrong people. I would rather have 7 followers that absolutely love what I am saying and like connect with what I'm saying rather than 7 million that couldn't give a shit about what I'm saying. That's what cultivating your community is. That's what being a 4 really is. Wanting the connection, wanting to have the correct community because it's correct for you, not because it gets you anything else. Like, honestly, right now, I could not care if anybody actually decides to work with me. What I care about is whether or not people are getting a transformation from me. That's what I care about. If that is through working with me, like, that's awesome. That's amazing. And I obviously will be super happy about it because that is what I still want, but I'm not forcing it. I'm not pressuring it. That's not what I'm here for. Yeah. So, those are all my insights right now. I'm going to make the other video about, we've talked about so much. I don't even know how long I've been on here. Probably over 30 minutes. But, yeah, I'm going to go and make a video about this because I really think that that's going to help. It definitely helps me understand how the lines really affect each gate and just how the lines are. And I'm also going to, in this video too, I'm going to actually say how I view and what I call each profile line. So it might make a lot more sense than opportunist, heretic, hermit. No. So, because those don't really resonate with me. So maybe what I believe about it or how I see it might resonate with you. And yeah, have a wonderful day.